Hello guys, how are you doing? I'm doing fine over here. Welcome back to Verified Soul. Now, these are the exact questions that you will get during your diversity visa interview. What I have done is actually I've extracted from real life interview experiences from various people over the years what questions they were asked, and I've put them together for you. And I've taken from 10 interview experiences from different selectees and from different countries. And the summation of these questions is what I'm going to present here today, so that it may help you and give you courage even as you go and face this interview. And this video is going to be a long one, but very important. Make sure you listen to the end and listen to the 10 experiences for you to at least get exposed to the questions that may be asked during your interview. These questions are going to help you well prepare yourself, and number two, well prepare the documentation that you will be needed to present during the interview. Those two things. But before we dive into these 10 selectees' experiences and what questions they were asked, I want to remind you of one thing, that remember the interview is person-based. It differs from one person to the other. Whatever questions that you will get might not be the same questions that the other person will get, but they all just revolve around one thing, and that thing is about what you filled in your DS260. What information did you present? Majority of the questions will be around what you filled in the DS260. Some few may go beyond asking about your early life in the United States or what you're intending to do in the United States. So know those two things. So what I have to do now is to directly jump into these questions by 10 individuals during their interview experiences at the US Embassy for the diversity visa. Remember, this is a mixture of single persons, married persons, those with kids, and so on. And here are some of the questions by the first selectee. And this is what the selectee was asked. What is the relationship with your sponsor? That's the question that selectee was asked. The second question was, when did you complete your university education? Number 3, have you ever been arrested? Only those 3 questions, and the selectee's visa was approved. The second selectee, what questions was he or she asked? The first one, what do you do for a living? The second question, who are you living with currently? The third question, how many times have you visited the United States? Only those 3 questions, and the visa was approved. The third selectee was asked, which is your highest education level? The second question, where will you go in the United States? The third question, why that place? In other words, why did you choose that place in the United States? The fourth question, what work does your sponsor do? The other question, how many years have you lived in the UAE, United Arab Emirates? The other question, have you been to Saudi Arabia before? And this question was directed to the principal applicant's spouse because the spouse had a visit visa to Saudi Arabia. The other question, can I see your account balance? This guy had presented the financial statement as the affidavit of support. That's why he was asked this. The other question, how did you get married? You see the married questions, the married people questions. Were your families related when you got married? The other question, when did you get married? The other one, when did your wife do her A levels? The other question, what are you going to do in the United States? The other question, how do you know your sponsor? The other question, have you ever had tuberculosis? So those are the questions that this selectee was asked. And as you can see, they were quite a number of questions. Let's move on to selectee number 4, who was a single person. And these were the questions directed to that selectee. Are you married now? Question number 2. Do you have kids? Question number 3. Which year did you do your advanced level? The final question, why do you want to live in the United States? Those were the questions asked to the 4th selectee. Let's move on to selectee number 5 and see what questions were posed to them. The first question, who will you stay with in the United States? Question number 2, what is your highest level of education? Question number 3, do you have any plans after arriving? Those were 3 questions to this selectee, and the visa was approved. Selectee number 6. What are you studying? Question number 2. What do you want to do in the United States? Question number 3. Do you have a family in the United States? Question number 4. What countries have you lived in up to now? Question number 5. Have you ever been to the United States before? The other question, have you ever had any troubles with the law? The final question, do you know anyone in the United States? Those were the questions to the 6th selectee. Let's go to selectee number 7. Have you ever been married? That's the first question. Second, have you ever been arrested? Third question, have you any kids? Fourth question, have you ever overstayed a US visa? The other question, where do you want to go in the United States? Those are the questions to selectee number 7. Selectee number 8. Question number 1. What is your name? Number 2. Are you married? Number 3. Can I please see your marriage certificate? Question 4. What is your child's name? Question 5. And family pictures together? 6. What is your current work? 7. Where are you working? 8. Since when have you been working there? The other question. What are you planning to do in the United States? The other question. Where are you planning to stay? The other question. How much have you in the savings? Those were the questions to selectee number 8. And as you can see clearly, this selectee was married and he was requested for the marriage certificate. The other thing, he was requested for the pictures that they have taken together as a family. Who expected that? Let's move on to selectee number 9. Question number 1. Where in the United States would you like to live in? Question number 2. What are you planning on doing as work in the United States? Question number 3. What are you currently doing? Question number 4. Whom will you be staying with? Question number 5. When are you planning to move to the United States? Question number 6. Have you ever lived anywhere else besides Germany and in the United States? The other question. Do you have any kids or spouse? The other question. Have you ever served in the military? Those were the questions directed to selectee number 9. And now we come to the final selectee. What were the questions that selectee number 10 experienced? Question number 1. Have you been married before? Number 2. Do you have any children? Number 3. Have you been married before? That is a question directed to the spouse. Another question to the spouse. Do you have any children? Another question to the spouse. What work do you do? And then the consular returns to the principal applicant. What work qualifications do you have? And this guy had a diploma and he was asked, explain your study qualifications. And then the guy presented the diploma and explained. And then the final question, have you both ever been arrested before? And the visa was approved for this couple. And as you can see, as I come to the end of this video, is that the questions, they vary depending on the information you provided about yourself and your derivatives. And as you can see clearly that you need to be overly prepared. At least you need to have some extra documents that you see can be required during the interview. For example, their other family was asked for photos that they had taken together. Who expected that? So being overly prepared with documents is a safe thing to do. And in majority of all those interviews, as you can see, a form of financial support or how you're going to stay, questions about the sponsor, question about your account balance, questions about your savings, Question about how will you start life in the United States? You can see that all those, they revolve around the affidavit of support. How you're going to sustain yourself as you start life in the United States. I hope the questions have been very useful to you and they will help you a lot as you prepare for the interview. And so guys, please show me the favor by liking the video and as well subscribing to the channel. And also, let's make a family here and let's meet in the next video.